It's great that you guys are coming on tonight, especially a beautiful night in Ontario. Anyway, some people from outside Ontario. I just want to introduce you to Danny Wood. I've known Danny probably, I don't know, it must be at least 8 to 10 years. I remember meeting him way back, and the guy was brilliant coming out the gate, and he just gets smarter and smarter. I've heard this guy speak over the years, and it just makes you, when you hear him talk, you're thinking, holy smokes, it is so simple. This guy, what he does, it makes you, and it helps a lot of realtors. And I thought you guys might love to hear what this guy has to say. Danny, listen, it's good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you, buddy.
There is 100% chance that my cat, Bill Murray, crashes the Zoom call. And I hope he does because he's getting on in life. So I kind of let him do whatever. But if he does, his name's Bill Murray. Actually, we rescued him when I was in Mexico with you.
Oh,
true story. Yeah, true story. Forgot about that.
How long ago was that in Mexico? Was that when the ReMax conference was way back?
It was the CCR thing, and it was
that one there.
The first time. We were just twice in Mexico, and it was the first one.
That's right. But I'm trying to remember where I first met you, Danny. I know it's a long time. You were just leaving your brokerage to do full-time coaching.
Yeah. Oh, so that was around 2012 then.
2012. So it is 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that you were doing that. So time flies, and you still look the same. You still look like a young kid.
I'm trying to go for the young. It's the water. Hot water.
It's the healthy life that you're living. Good stuff. But anyway, guys, listen to Danny. He's got great stuff. You are going to be impressed with what he has to tell you. And anyway, Danny, go ahead, buddy. Let's hear some good stuff from you.
Perfect, man. Okay, so I actually like it really interactive. So if people have questions, please type them or even unmute yourself and ask out loud. I would love that. I'm going to put my cell number. So here's my cell number as I'm speaking. You can see it. It's 905-903-5442. So you can also text me. Anybody who does text me, they're going to get a free half-hour coaching call, a link for that. And in the comment section, actually, I should put that in there. Let's see if it'll work. Paste. Cool. So in the comment section, I just put my name, my phone number, my email, and all the basic details in case you guys wanted to connect with me in some other fashion. It's all there. And yeah, so today we're going to cover two things. So the first is going to be about video. And then later on, about halfway through, then I'm going to shift over into how you can connect with your database and work remotely for referrals. And so I'm going to start with the video part of it first. And I mean, I've been pushing video since 2008. And around 2012 and 13 is when I was really hammering it. But ever since I was in the industry, I saw value in video. And my first aha was when we were doing paid internet leads to a landing page. Say we were doing it to a house value page. We would drive traffic to that page, and there's a cost in that. But if we just took whatever the average traffic was and increased the conversion, there's zero cost in trying to increase your conversions. And video 100% increase your conversions for a couple of reasons. One, people don't like reading content. And so there's a tool I want you guys to write down. So pull out your pen. You're going to write down a couple things, I'm hoping, and this is one of them. It's called Loom, Loom, loom.com. Loom is free. I recommend that you don't go to their website and download it that way. I suggest you go to the Google Chrome store and add it as a plugin. It's a lighter version. It does the same thing, and it's not annoying because their full version is like a really system hog. Like it takes a lot of resources, and you don't need that. Also, it defaults to turn on every time you turn on your computer, which again, you probably don't need that either. So I like the Google Chrome plugin version of Loom, and it's free. So what Loom does is it allows you to record your computer screen and you at the same time. So it would be my web camera would be looking at me, and then my picture of me would be in the bottom right corner of the screen. And then instead of a kitchen behind me, you know, it would be my backdrop, the content that I'm looking at. And when you lean into and rely on the content as your script and your story, it makes it so much easier to be natural and candid and almost like conversational, right? So a lot of real estate agents, they fear video and they have a challenge with video. The common ones is that they don't like the way they look and sound, which I mean, the people work with you for who you are, and they already know and like the way you look and sound anyway. So it doesn't really matter about that part. The other one is it takes a lot of time to create videos. So say I was for the first time to build up the courage to create a video the first time, and I go out and I buy all this gear. I get a tripod and lights and a mic, and I set up the camera and I start recording myself. And afterwards, you got all this footage that you have to edit together, which again takes even more time to stitch that together. And then you post it on Facebook and Instagram and other places. Well, when you post it on social media, you have like a 3-day shelf life to get the views, conversations, engagement, likes, shares, all of that. After around day 4 and 5, it's a straight ghost town. Nobody ever sees that video again. So a lot of agents are feeling disheartened and a little heartbroken. They're like, man, I put so much effort into it and I got nothing. But all these other agents, they seem to be killing it with video. So my suggestion to you is to first start creating video that you can re-leverage for multiple different reasons above and beyond just posting it on social media. So I'm going to go back to that seller landing page for an example. So say I pull up my website and I go to the seller page. Then I use the Loom plugin and I hit record. So I'm going to do a fake little video. So I hit record. I'm like, hey, it's Danny Wood here over at ABC Realty. If you're thinking of selling a home here in Durham region, Oshawa, Whitby, Pickering, and Ajax, fill in the form below. And what you're going to get is a comprehensive list of all the homes that you would be competing with if you hit the market. Plus, you're going to discover exactly what your house values are so that you know what you could list at if you were to put your home on the market for sale today. And third, as an added bonus, I'm going to include a list of all the homes for sale that match your criteria as if you were a buyer. And this is going to help you find that needle in a haystack. Now, all of this is a complimentary free service. Fill in the form below. I'm a real guy and I'll really follow up. Thanks. Boom. 30, 40 seconds, I was able to make a video using Loom, and it didn't require any editing. I mean, you can't even tell if I'm wearing pants or not. It's COVID 2020, you never know, right? But you didn't have to go to this property and film this thing. And I'm wearing pants. They're Lulus. And so doing that video, I made a video on my landing page. And so I have a house value landing page. So I would make a video about that. Do you have a buyer landing page or like a listing page? I would make a video about that, showing them how to search the properties on your website or how to use the mortgage calculator on your website. Or about you, about the company, about the team. Like there's all these different call to actions, investment properties, like an investment tour that you have, or a career, real estate as a second career. Maybe you have an event or something. Any landing page where you're trying to get people to give you their contact information, those are the videos you should make. And you don't even need camera gear or anything. All you need is the computer that you've already got and record the screen using Loom. There's another tool I want you to write down. It's called Rev, rev.com. Rev.com, what they do is they take your video and they'll transcribe it for you. It's $1.25 US a minute. This was like a bazillion Canadian or something, I'm not sure. So anyways, you're going to take this $1.25 that you spent and they're going to type out your video for you. So what happens is a better example would be, say you had a seller presentation, right? Or a buyer presentation. It's kind of hard to meet people in person and do presentations. So why don't you use Loom and make a recording of each of your presentations, go through a mock listing presentation and a mock buyer presentation, recording your PowerPoint screen or whatever you use to present with. And you'll have like, maybe it's a 20-minute video, maybe it's a 40-minute. Like, I don't know how long it takes you to go through your presentation, but it's going to be longer than 5 minutes, I'll tell you that. Well, once you have that video recorded, you can upload it to Loom, Rev. They're going to transcribe that for you. And now what do you have? You've got a blog post. So you've got fresh original content that other people don't have on their website, and it's all about you talking about selling a home. And so when I take that video, put it on my blog, I take the transcription, I put it on my blog. That's 2 pieces of original content that others don't have. You made the video and you get to use it and repurpose it for other reasons. So say, for example, backtracking to that seller page when a person filled in the house value form, would they not get an automatic thank you email? assuming so that they would. Well, during that automatic thank you email, why don't you send them to the blog post that we just made of your listing presentation, and they can virtually go through it, right? So what I'm saying is take video and look at all the different ways you can leverage it into multiple different pieces. Even that one long blog post that we make about your listing presentation, we could chop that up into like 4 or 5 social media posts, right? You could have one chunk of it just talking about you and the team and the company and your organization, and another chunk could be talking about the marketing that you do, right? And the other one could be talking about the local market, whatever. So take a look at your videos and figure out ways that you can reuse it for a longer shelf life than just throwing it on social media and hoping you hit a home run. That's the type of video that I would suggest that you start with. There is a technique with Facebook stories and Instagram stories that I really like. And the reason why I like them is because when you post using a story, it only has a 24-hour shelf life. And a lot of agents are like, oh man, why would I create content if it's going to get deleted within 24 hours? Well, one, you're already telling me you're not good at video, so it's a good thing it's getting deleted anyways, right? And I'm totally kidding. Two, it's because the Facebook and Instagram stories are part of the bigger eyeballs. More people are looking at the stories statistically than the posts. So if you're not posting on the story section, you're really missing out on a lot of information. And the good ones that you do, like the Golfi team posted about me talking today, they should highlight that so that it never disappears again. And you can highlight things within your stories and then it doesn't disappear. So it's not like it has to disappear. Just use it as a way of peppering who you are and what you do. Just don't be too spammy about it. But also you should be using the thing as well. So I am going to shift my screen so that you're not looking at me. We're going to look at my computer screen. I'm going to play a video for you. And this video is more of me on how I failed forward at creating video. And in the video you're about to watch, I have my phone on a tripod and it's like 4 feet away from me. And I'm recording myself. So I didn't have a camera crew or anything. I just hit record on my phone. And then in my hand, I had another device. You could have a tablet, like an iPad or something like that. I just happened to have an older phone kicking around that was like a junky garbage phone. And so I used that and I created a PowerPoint. If you're Android, I was iPhone, so I used Keynote. And on my phone in my hand, I had a presentation. And you can record the screen of your phone. So I recorded that screen and I was just flipping through the presentation, and that was my story keeping me on track. And then I was looking and making eye contact into the camera on the stand. So I had 2 video clips, the one on the tripod and the one in my hand, and then I just had to put them together. So we're going to take a look at this video, and in this video, I tell you a story of how to fail forward at video. So Rob, I'm not going to answer questions during the video, but if there are questions, take a note and then we'll talk about them afterwards. So I'm going to stop my video and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. If for some reason I play this video and you can't hear it, then also just yell at me. Okay, I'm hitting play right now. Hey, what's up? It's Danny here. I'm going to try something totally new. I just heard fireworks go off in the background. It's the new year, and I have a pretty cool setting. It's a prison, an old prison, and it goes with the theme of today's video, which is going to be about feeling trapped. My example of failing started with this vlog, but your example can be totally different, whether it's losing weight or trying something new or anything in general. We've all failed. So if you've ever been on that fail train, you'll totally appreciate where I'm coming from. When I failed with my vlog, there was 3 primary things that did that to me. The first one was the gear and the process. So I overcomplicated all the gear that I needed, and the process to actually edit the video and stitch it all together is just like really paralyzed me. Nothing ever felt natural and candid. It was very scripted, robotic, and just shit is basically what I ended up thinking. Speaking of the script, I could never memorize a script, so I tried so many different things where I would put bullet points and tape it onto the tripod underneath the camera, but you could see me looking down and not looking into the camera. And then other things I tried was actually writing up a script and using a teleprompter. That one actually works really good, but the problem with it was my videos turned out to be just me talking into the camera, and nobody wants to see that. And so me doing a talking head video just wasn't going to cut it for today's modern world. We just don't have the attention span for that. So the teleprompter idea is awesome, except for boring. Now, whatever your project is that you're working on that you keep failing at, a lot of times we let stuff get in the way. So my example here is I'm looking at a GoPro. I actually love the GoPro. I think everybody should have one. However, we all experience it where you buy something brand new thinking it's going to solve your problem, and you take it out of the box and you shoot your first little shot, or you do whatever you do with it. And it's just like not what you expected. Everybody else made it look so much better than how you are doing it. And it's kind of embarrassing. When I see all the other footage that people are capturing with it, the clarity of the audio, the crispness of the scene, just like the whole cinematic sequence, and then I get it and it's just like, terrible. So the process or the end result is never what you expected. I mean, especially when you compare yourself to different people. So I just threw up 3 people on the screen here. There's Casey, Peter, and Jesse. And these are 3 guys that I really, really, really look up to. And the problem with me looking up to these guys is that I pale in comparison. I never cut it. When I look at the quality of the work that they do, these are 3 YouTubers. But it doesn't matter if it's 3 YouTubers that you are inspired by, or if it's like a star that you look up to, an industry leader, or a colleague down the hallway. What ends up happening is we get so distracted and blinded by the polish and the fake social world that we live in that we expect what we do to be the exact same results as what they do. And if it's not even close, we're just kind of depressed and sad with ourselves. And I definitely found myself in that boat because I just never found my groove. So I got this video up here and it's showing behind the scenes. So a lot of the people that are ahead of you, there's usually a team behind them. And that team has a collective experience, whether it be like 20 years in that industry or 10 years or 15 or 30. And you're trying it for the first time, you have a collective experience of 0. We always forget this, and when I'm trying to do self-filming like I am now, and then I want to go home and I want to edit this little video, I have to realize I don't have the army, which is flying by right now. There's literally an air base, and that's an army helicopter. So the army is flying away without me, and I'm standing here by myself doing it. So it's easy for them to look all high on their horse when they got a crew of people that can make them look good in any light. And then here we are over in the corner, if anybody can relate. You're like a horse, just a toy horse, walking in circles, and people are just walking by. They're not even like offering to help us, right? So my problem initially started with the fact that on YouTube, I'm over 500 videos right now, which is awesome. That's not the problem. I got about 300 that are public and 200 that are private. Now, there's an algorithm that YouTube really looks at, and it's called audience retention. That's the playthrough rate. So if it was a 60-second video, what's the percentage of time people will stick through? Is it 10 seconds, 40, 60? Obviously, the higher the better. Now, my problem with this audience retention is that I have really long format videos. They're like 40 minutes to 60 minutes, and ideally on YouTube, it should be more like 3 minutes to 12 minutes. And so that's a huge problem for me. And because of that, YouTube is going to be penalizing my videos organically when people do searching. So I thought to fix this problem would be to just make shorter format videos, 3-minute to 8-minute videos. So what I could do is take all of my old format videos, repurpose them into fresh content. So I thought I'd flip the switch and create my own lane. I mean, I kept trying to compare myself to other vloggers and compare myself to other people that are doing things that just aren't my strengths and skill sets. So I thought, why can't I just create my own lane? One thing I've discovered in my public speaking endeavors, when I'm on stage and I'm doing a presentation, the presentation that everybody is looking at actually isn't for them. The presentation is for me. It's a visual reference and a visual cue as to what I should be saying and keeping me on track for my story. So why can't I do the same thing where I just use my phone to tell a little story for you? So I'm using Keynote right now. Keynote is an awesome tool. It allows you to create presentations directly on your phone. So everything that you've seen in this video so far, I made on Keynote. All the animations of the text, all the actual videos that you're watching, it's just playing on Keynote, and I'm recording my screen as I talk to you. What's really awesome about this little format, I feel, it gives me an organic script. I'm not reading something word for word and feeling like a robot and unnatural. It allows me to just tell my story and kind of bounce around, but stay in the lane. It also gives me the B-roll overlay footage for you so that it breaks up the monotony of being so boring, just staring at my face the whole time that I talk. And then also the cool thing about Keynote is that you can do it in portrait mode. So I can create this presentation the size of my phone, and then therefore I can upload it to things like Instagram stories and Facebook stories, and even Facebook and YouTube now allow you to upload in portrait mode, and when a person watches that, it takes up the whole screen. Basically storytelling on the go. This is going to be my new format, and I want to know, like, if you stumble, will you make it part of the dance? Because I've literally been stumbling for years. I just stumbled on that word. And I've been stumbling for years. Like, literally, I bought my Sony DSLR camera like 3 or 4 years ago to make a vlog. And then I was going to do another vlog of me doing adventures and having fun. And it just took the fun out of the fun by having to create all this content. It's just not why I wanted to do it. Now I have a real reason. My YouTube channel, the numbers are going to start to go down because of that audience retention rate, and people just don't care for long format videos. So part of my stumbling enabled me to fail forward and find a solution that I think will work. I don't know anybody else who's doing these type of videos where they're using a presentation on their phone to keep them on track, but I think you could do it as well. Let me share a couple ideas with you. Monthly videos. So if you were a real estate agent, you could create a presentation on your phone for the market stats of what's happened in your market, property types, that sort of thing. And then it could be a monthly video that you do, and it only takes like a minute or 2 minutes to make. A product or service highlight video. So I could easily create, if I was in the car industry and a new car comes out, just like even in real estate as well, kind of like going through a presentation talking about all the highlights, and you're like flipping the page of the magazine or flipping the page of the brochure or flipping through the listing photos of that property, and you're just kind of talking about them. About you, all real estate agents and all people in business should have an about you, about the team, and or about the company. And so maybe you could start off with making that as your video. And then the client process. So a lot of the videos that I make, I intend on repurposing for multiple reasons. I never make a video just for uploading a video's sake. I always have a reason for it. Many times it's either for a landing page or for like a follow-up sequence to educate a person as to why they should maybe enroll in that product or service. Hopefully I just gave you a couple ideas. I don't know, I'm just kind of, oh, time's up, they're shooting the cannons. So we're standing out front of the prison here. Hopefully you don't feel trapped. Hopefully you fail forward, and on to the next. So I'm going to stop that there, and I'm going to come back onto the camera, and just thumbs up that you guys can see and hear me. Good. Awesome. So I don't know if that video came across as comfortable and casual to you, but I did that in one take by myself, just with a phone on a tripod, and I felt really comfortable on it. It was one of the easiest videos I had ever made, and that was the first time I ever did that process. And now all my videos are with that process, where it's my phone on a tripod, and then if you're Android, you would use PowerPoint, or if you're iPhone, I would suggest Keynote. And you just like make a little mini presentation. It doesn't have to be that long. It can be 5 slides, something short, right? And you're just flipping through and you're talking about it, and that keeps you on track. That's your script. I used to, my name's Danny Wood, but it doesn't mean I'm from Hollywood, and I would completely fail and get fired if I was trying to be an actor. Like, I would not be able to memorize any script whatsoever. And so doing this little approach where I recorded my phone in my hand, it also made it interactive and interesting, I feel, because if I was just standing talking into that camera the whole time, that'd be snoozeville. Like, people would be tuning out right away. But with this video style, I get a lot of people that message me because of this style. Like, it really stands out to them. So, okay, I'm going to shift gears and
Hey,
show
Danny,
you some of the gear.
We have a couple questions.
Okay.
Okay, so one is, how do you get the B-roll on that video?
I did it all in Keynote. So everything you were watching, I had in Keynote, and I was just recording my phone at the same time, and I just put the 2 clips together. So Keynote or PowerPoint allows you to do image slides, but it also allows you to do video slides. So any of the videos of like the guy high on his horse, I just flipped the page and it automatically started playing the guy sitting on his horse with the cameraman, and I just put them in order, and that was it. I just had 2 video clips to put together.
Great. For Keynote, so on Android, would the comparable app be PowerPoint then?
PowerPoint. Yep. I'm sure there might be others, but PowerPoint's definitely the best for sure. You can do a lot with PowerPoint. It's really good.
Good. Last question right now is, when you send your video to rev.com, does it give you a transcript, or can they put the subtitles directly onto their video?
They give you the text format to download so that you could add it to your video later. So normally, and it wouldn't be a transcription, it would be closed captioning that you're looking for. And because Rev does more than one thing, they do transcriptions, they do closed caption. I prefer transcriptions because I would rather use the content from my blog. It's just written cleaner. And my theory is this: if you're not going to watch one of my videos with the sound turned on, then you're not hurting my feelings if you don't watch the video, because you're not going to get anything from it anyways. So I don't do captions. Kind of sounds like an egomaniac, but really legit for me and the type of content that I create, if you're not going to listen to it, then I don't bother. So I would rather, if I'm going to pay for anything, I'll pay for a transcription, because then at least I can put that on my blog and get like a bigger website, more content, and more traffic to me. That's what I go for. But you can do both. You can pay for transcriptions and closed captions on Rev. And I don't, they won't add they won't add it to the video as if it's like an image overlaid on the video. What they do is they give you the file, and when you're uploading it to Facebook or YouTube, for example, within that upload feature, you can upload the transcription at the same time. Most people miss that part, but it's like under more options when you're uploading a video, and that's when you would use the transcription file.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, cool. I just picked this thing up. Check this out. It's a folding laptop stand, and it's like origami. It just like folds like this, because I want to switch and show you guys something. But if I want to use this camera here, it's like you're looking up my nose, and like you create like fat rolls on your face and stuff. It's just not a good view. So with this, look at that. For like 50 bucks, I found this thing on Amazon, and it totally props up your computer. So now I'm eye level. I'm not looking down on a person as if like I'm superior type of thing. I'm on an equal playing ground. So I really like this thing. It's on Amazon. It's called what's it called? A folding laptop stand. And it's really just plastic, and they sell a $300 one and a $40 one. Go for the $40 one. Plastic is plastic, and this is quality. Like, I'm totally happy with it. Okay, so I'm going to pause my screen. So when I pause, you guys are going to not see me, and it's going to take me about 20 seconds. It's so awkward when I have to do this. Hold on. I'm switching cameras, and it's not an easy process. I'm going to be pulling up all the gear that I want to suggest that you guys take a look at. So let me know in 10 seconds if you can see my screen.
Are we recording this, Holly?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Great.
Yes, we are.
We'll be able to, you guys be able to re-listen to this after.
Cool. Good. Okay, so let me come back, and then I'm going to switch cameras. Prezi. Cool. All right. Can you see I'm on like a totally different camera, and now I've got David Letterman on the screen. Do you guys see that? Good.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So let me click to it. Man, so awkward when you're staring at me and I'm trying to struggle through it. Okay, good. So here, I want to talk about the gear that I want you to consider. Now, you've already got the gear that you need, and that's the phone in your pocket, okay? So I'm not like giving you a shopping list and telling you you can't create video until you have this stuff. I'm just sharing with you some of the things that I learned over time that I wish I knew so that I didn't waste money on a bunch of senseless stuff. The first, oh, let me skip these two. The first one is if you want to level up your video quality, it's not even the camera that you need to focus on, it's the lighting and the microphone. Now, as I say lighting, this is terrible lighting because of the way I have everything set up. Anyways, don't listen to me about that part. I want to talk about microphones. So the iRig mic lav, I'm pointing to it right now. Take a picture of that with your phone or write it down. It is the best budget microphone that you can get that is just plug and play. It works on your phone. Depending on your phone, I have an iPhone, so it's got the lightning port. So I had to buy a dongle because it's 2020 and you need a dongle for everything. So I needed a phone dongle that worked with this. But once I did get that dongle, it just plug and play. It doesn't require app. It doesn't require batteries or power. And what happens is it puts the microphone closer to the sound source, and it elevates your voice as a person, and it lowers all the background noise. And for the price, I mean, I think they're around between $50 and $80, depending where you buy it and when you buy it. I've been using that microphone for years. it's an okay thing for the price. Now, if you want to pay money, this is definitely the one I suggest. This is the one that I use personally now going forward. And it's the one I used in that video you just watched. It's the same microphone Tom Ferry uses. So if you don't trust me, maybe you can trust him. And it's called the Rode Go. It's a wireless lapel microphone. So it's the same thing. It clips onto your shirt, but what it does is it cuts the cord. So I could have my phone on a tripod, and then I could be walking around the kitchen showing the granite countertops and stuff, and my cord's not getting tangled up on the tripod and just dragging around. It is more money. It's like $200 to $300. And Rob, I think there might be feedback on one of the microphones. If we can pause them, just you can ask questions. It's just to cut back the noise. And then the other thing about this Rode Go is that it has a volume control so that you can control the gain before you even hit record. And where that comes in handy is, say you're doing a condo and you're out on the balcony filming, the volume level is going to be like up here. And then you go into the kitchen and you make another video, the volume level is going to be like down here. And so when you put these two video clips side by side and they play and the person's watching, it's like, whoa, really distracting and almost painful. And so with the Rode Go, it allows you to level out the volumes before you even hit record. So it's really cool. I like it a lot. It's my main go-to microphone. Now, the other thing that really levels up your game is better lighting. Better lighting is probably the simplest thing to make you look better, even more than a more expensive camera. Lighting is really important. So this thing, it fits in the palm of your hand. It's like goes in your pocket. It is super small. It is ultra light. And when I say light, I mean like not heavy. And so you could put it on a selfie stick and that would really help. When you're doing these Zoom calls, you could put it by your computer and it would really help. When you're doing anything within an arm's length distance, this is the light to get. It's really cheap and it has a hour and a half battery life, where most of the time you're not filming for that length of time anyways. And of all the lights that I've ever bought, and I've paid a lot of money for different lights, this is my most used #1 thing in my toolkit. I will not go shoot a video without carrying this with me. It just works and it's super cheap. So the other one to consider is a 10-inch ring light. So I don't know if when you watch that video, if the lighting looked really good, but I'll tell you it did. And if you missed that, it's because even though I was filming outside, I still had the ring light set up and it just cast like a better light on my face. And so I use a 10-inch ring light. You can buy cheaper ones, but they're probably like 5-inch. And you need a 10-inch one because you need your phone to fit inside of the thing. The smaller, like 5-inch ones are for DSLR cameras, like a Nikon or a Canon, and the lens fits in, but the camera is hanging out the back. You want your phone to be going in the middle so that you can turn it sideways or portrait mode. And this kit on Amazon.ca, not .com, but .ca, it's like $85. You get the light, you get a tripod, you get a phone holder that rotates portrait and landscape, and it gets you a remote shutter so that you can start video and stop video on your phone from a distance. 85 bucks, a 10-inch ring light. Definitely, if you're going to be making a lot of video, you should get that. Don't worry about this. They don't sell it in Canada, so skip that. The Hissy remote is a Bluetooth remote. So say my phone is on a tripod and I walk over to it and I hit record, and then I walk back to the other side of the kitchen island. The whole time I'm walking to and from the camera, it's like autofocus is going all wonky like that. The lighting is just flickering because it's trying to like calculate the white balance. Well, with this little remote, you can buy one for an iPhone or an Android. So make sure you buy the right one. They're like $20. When you click the button, it will start recording. And then when you click the button again, it stops recording. So it really limits you from having to trim the beginning and end of every video clip you've ever taken. I use this for every shot. I use a remote shutter. I don't ever touch my phone anymore. Now, 90% of you, close your eyes, close your ears, because you don't need this. But for the 10% of you that are really pushing video and like you've already made 20 plus videos and you're willing to invest in gear, this thing, the DXA Micro Pro, I really wish people told me about sooner. I fell into a trap of buying a microphone, not being happy, buying a more expensive microphone, not being happy, more expensive microphone purchased, still not happy. And I just kept like upgrading my microphones and always being disappointed. Nobody ever told me that the preamp there's a thing called a preamplifier, and it's in your phone, it's in your GoPro, it's in your Sony camera, it's in all of our cameras. It's called a preamp. And that's what like amplifies the microphone, and it's trash. And nobody ever told me that. I didn't know. I thought just the quality of the mic mattered, and it doesn't. If you plug your microphone into this thing, then this plugs into your phone. Oh my God, it is crystal clear audio. There's no background hiss, static noise being created by the preamp. The volume of your voice, you actually can control with those knobs, the dials. Man, but that was my biggest pet peeve, was bad audio, and I had it for years. Man, I didn't fix my audio till this year. And Rob, I told you I've been pushing videos since 2012. I started around 2008. So I've been dealing with bad audio all this time. And I still made videos. So don't fall into the gear trap where you're like, oh, I have to have this stuff before I start. I didn't have it before I started.
From your experience, Haps.
What's that?
We're going to benefit from your experience of all those years of you trying to figure out your audio.
Right? Totally. Here's another one. If you have a smartwatch, I have a picture of an iPhone iWatch up here. I don't know what Android version would work, but I know on the iPhone it works. Your iPhone Apple Watch has a camera viewfinder, and it's synced to your phone, and you can see that you're in shot. I'd be like, oh, I have to move over and down. I'd be like, oh, there we go. Here, I'm happy with this. And then on my watch, I would just hit record. It would do my video, hit it again, and it'll stop. So I don't use the Bluetooth remote shutters anymore because I like seeing that I'm in shot and in frame. I'll tell you a little secret. What camera do you think is better? The one on the front of your phone or the one on the back of your phone? I'll tell you, it's the one on the back of your phone. It doesn't matter what phone you have. And so the reason why people use the front phone is because they want to see that they're in shot and that they're in focus and that they're in frame. I get it. It makes sense. You obviously would want that. However, if you can film from the back of your phone, the quality, it's basically a bigger hole and that's going to allow more light in, and it removes a lot of the muddiness. It's a better pixel camera, so it's sharper and you can zoom in and do panning and cropping and stuff like that. Whereas on the front camera, you're really limited with the quality of what you're getting, especially because you're paying for the camera on the back. Like you really should be using that. Now, because I use the back of my phone, I can't see that I'm in shot, so I use my watch, and it really helps me out because I do everything 100% me, like just me out in the middle of a desert filming stuff. Okay, I want to stop this for a second. I'm going to come back to you guys on the real camera. Cool, here we go. All right, let me just move this down so it's not in the way. So that's some of the gear that I suggest. Well, it's the main gear that I suggest. I don't want you falling in the gear trap. I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the stuff so that you knew what was out there in case you were in the market to buy stuff, right? Okay, so I'm going to shift away. Oh, thank you, Holly, for writing all that out. I'm going to shift away of talking about video and gear, and I'm going to go into working your database remotely for referrals.
Hey,
now,
sorry, Danny. One quick thing before we move on. Kathy's wondering, can you go over again how you work your watch, how you integrate your watch into it?
Sure. Well, I can only tell from experience from Apple. And so as soon as you get an Apple Watch, it already has the camera app installed. And all I had to do is open up the camera on my phone, open up the camera app on my watch, and it just worked. And it shows me my screen and everything, and there's a little button. I just hit record. I'm sure Android is going to be coming out with something because Google just bought Fitbit not too long ago. And that signals that they're going to be releasing their own version of a smartwatch if they don't already have one out. So I'm not too sure about Android, but I know iPhone, that's how I do it. And I'm not pro iPhone over Android. I don't care what you use as long as you use it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Stop. Share screen. Okay, so this next video clip, I literally hiked out into the middle of a desert by myself and self-filmed this, and I used my phone on a tripod, the keynote on the phone in my hand. The microphone I was using was the Rode Go, and I had the ring light turned on to try and balance out the lighting. So let's hit play. Hey, what's up? It's Danny Wood here. I'm going to do vlog number 2, which is going to be on relationship marketing. And a lot of real estate agents, they feel awkward when they're calling their database, and I can totally relate. I'll tell you why. One of my life's goals is to have joy with everything that I do, and if I don't have joy doing it, I don't want to do it, especially when it comes to work. Like, we're trading time for money. It's one of the most valuable things, time, and we're just wasting it on things that we don't like doing. So if it's not bringing me joy, I don't want to do it. And the joy totally was sucked out of me as soon as I got into the real estate business. I walked in the front door and they gave me a wadded up, crusty bunch of pieces of paper glued together. I think they call it a phone book. And they wanted me to go through such a book and cold call these people. I'm like, whoa, hold on, cowboy. I'm out in the middle of a desert, but that doesn't mean that's what I want to do. Anything else you can suggest for me? And they're like, yeah, we got a couple more brick walls for you. How about you bug your sphere of influence? I mean, call your sphere of influence. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Yeah, I got to call my sphere of influence, my friends and family. Hey, Joey, it's Danny Wood here. I haven't talked to you in 20 years, but I got my real estate license now, and I'm really eager for that commission. How are the kids? It didn't sit well with me. I didn't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, what else you got? And they're like, well, how about you prospect complete strangers, like for sale by owners and inspireds? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not why I got into business. I don't feel good. I don't want to show up and do this sort of thing. And this is the truth. It's hard for you to be inspired when you feel like an ass. And if you don't have a good reason for why you're calling people, you feel like, and it wasn't until I discovered I needed a why that was bigger than me. Before, with all the other past sales training I was taking, it was all about business first, and it didn't sit well with me. So what I started doing was calling people for bigger reasons that was more about them than it was for me. I came up with a two-plan system. Plan A was the reason for the phone call. A stands for awesome. Anything that was fun, positive, and share-worthy, that's why I was calling them. Plan B was business.
No, you didn't. They're right there.
That in the conversation when, if, and where it felt fitting. So I never forced the business conversation. I just let it flow. Let me show you a couple examples. You should gather a couple agents from your office and do a yearly clothing drive. It's something you can all add to your marketing calendar as a yearly event. You'll be able to reconnect with everybody in your database with a positive touch point. It's easy. You just call them up and say, hey, we're doing a clothing drive. I'll swing by and pick it up. Would you participate? Just put it in a bag. A lot of people will say, yeah. And now what's happening is you get a face-to-face conversation because you're going to swing by and see them. You're updating your database with their mailing address and their home address, which is key for a real estate agent to have. And it's something you can do even quarterly if you wanted, but at least yearly. Do it as a group. You'll get positive press release. You can have a blog, social media, and a whole bunch of stuff out of it. Above and beyond just you connecting with people on a positive level. Now, we've all gone through these calling programs and coaching programs where they have us burn through our database for the first time, and it's a blitz and you're like taking selfies of you doing it, and that's great. However, if you ask most agents 3 months later if they're still doing it, they aren't. Most aren't. And the reason for that is because the second, third, and fourth phone call, you run out of ideas. Now, remember I said everything I do is all about joy and it's inside me? Well, on a quarterly basis, I would set something in the future that was fun and totally random and experiential, like a Segway tour or a fishing trip or poker, wine, beer tasting. Like, it doesn't matter. It was always experiential and fun. And that gave me another reason to connect with people. And it was always different. One time it might be a self-defense class. Another time it could be a CPR course. Or maybe it's a make and take where it's a seasonal thing and we all show up, make stuff, and then take it home based on that holiday. Be creative, but have something on your horizon at all time, because that's what makes it easier to pick up the phone and enroll people. Now, as a self-employed professional, you obviously know other self-employed professionals, and a lot of people in your database are going to be self-employed as well. So why don't you do a share and tell where everybody shows up at a restaurant or something, and they go around table and talk about who they are and what they sell, like their product and service, and then they tell one example of how they generate business. That's going to create cross-pollination between other people in the room. So not only are you going to be the key player, the person in the center that organized the whole thing, but everybody else is going to get value from it, and maybe you can do it on like a quarterly basis, maybe even monthly if it gets big. Now, the whole time I'm calling people about my plan A, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of plan B. When it's fitting, I'm going to slide in the business conversation depending on who the people are, and more importantly, depending how the conversation is currently going. If it's uplifting and I feel like they have time to talk a little bit longer, I'm going to go into plan B. So an example of plan B is the homeowners. If you know somebody who owns a home, which I hope you do, you can call through your database and let them know, hey, we got this nosy neighbor alert, and it will keep you updated on all the homes that hit the market just in your neighborhood. You'll see the pictures, the price, the home renovations, that sort of thing. It's free and it's easy. What's the best email? And now you're updating your database with homeowners, getting their email and their address so that you can let them know of what's happening directly in their neighborhood. It's free for you, it's free for them, it's relevant to them. If you are going to create a drip program, this is the first one that you should do, and it's absolutely free. A lot of people that you know are in business and or self-employed and into investing, maybe. And if so, you could do a monthly tour looking at duplexes, triplexes, fix and flips, power sales, that sort of thing. And then I would create a smaller list of just the people in my database who are investors. And once a month, we could meet up and do a little tour looking at property. The cool thing about investors is that they don't have any loyalty. And the reason why that's cool is because they don't have loyalty to the other agents either. So unless they're under contract, don't step on that. But most of the time, it's just a relationship game, and you got to be the one that has the relationship with them. This is an easy touch, for sure. The other thing is anybody who's an investor in your database, they have two homes, the one they live in and the one they rent out. You're in this game for another 5 years or 10 years, I hope, right? While that person is probably going to be buying or selling more property in the future. And this is a great touch. A lot of the people we speak to are tenants, and they're not a lost hope. If a person is a tenant, I would be like, hey, what's current rent go for where you're at? And they would tell me, oh, it's around 1,400 or 1,600 or 2,200. And then I would respond, well, that's crazy, because I actually have a list of homes for sale that you can own, and the monthly mortgage is the same as what you're paying in rent. Would you be interested in that? Now, I would only say that if it's true. I don't know what your market is. You might not be able to do that approach, but I can in my market, so hopefully you can in yours. Now, in the back of my mind, the whole time, I'm tuning in to one of these business-related reasons, and the list goes on. I just gave you 3. There's more pillars. Some of you do pre-construction. Some of you do military, specific property like cottages and waterfront and condos, anything. So have all these business pillars in the back of your mind, and then when you're having a conversation, just go with the flow and fit it in. It's more important to pick up the phone and be consistent with dialing than it is to like hammer them down to be a buyer right on the spot or a seller right on the spot. Now, if your office wants to set up an... Okay, I'm going to stop that there because that is a sales pitch. And you guys don't want a sales pitch on this, do you? No, I want to help you guys out. So when I was first getting into real estate and they had me call my database, they gave me the same script. It was one script fits all. And I was like, man, my database is so diverse. Everybody's so different. I'm not going to call my cousin with the same script as the landlord of the property down the street. Just like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right for me. So I created a game where every month I had something fun on my horizon that I could look forward to. And then I would use that as the reason of why I was connecting with people. I was just like a professional inviter where I was just always inviting people to have fun. And if they say no, I mean, bah humbug to them because I'm still having fun. So that was the path that I took. So how do you do that right now with COVID? Like, I'm not trying to tell you to run around and have client parties and hug people in the street because you're going to get sick. So if you want to work from the comfort of your couch, this is what I would suggest. It's not business as usual for you, and it's not business as usual for your vendors as well. Take a look at your mortgage broker, your plumber, roofer, electrician, handyman, junk removal, paint removal, painter, all these different trades, right? Everybody's slowing down. So what I would do is I would call my vendors first and tell them, hey, I have a great idea. What if in a couple weeks we do a Zoom call and it's a virtual share and tell, kind of like a chamber of commerce where you share who you are and what you do, and you tell one way that you generate business during COVID. If nothing else, besides getting referrals, you'll definitely be increasing your network and adding to your database. How's that sound? As long as I get like 4 or 5 people to commit and say, yeah, that sounds cool, let's do it. I'll set the date and time. I'll be the facilitator, just like Rob's doing with us today, right now. He set the date and time, and then he has somebody show up and do it, which is awesome. It's leverage. And I do the same thing. And so I'll set the date and time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my database and I'm going to export it. I'm going to print it. Maybe it's 20 pages, maybe it's 50 pages, whatever it is, just staple the thing together. The reason why I like physical and not digital is because I can see where I left off and who I missed. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a green highlighter, and anybody on that list that I think would tune into a business conversation, either they're self-employed, commission, sales, network marketing, or whatever, you just know that they're into investing and making money somehow, then I'll contact those people. So I'm going to highlight all of them green. So maybe the first one is, so I'm going to highlight them, and the next 2, they're not, so I wait. And then like 4 and 5, they are, so I highlight them. And I'm going to go down my list. Maybe if I had 100 people in my sphere of influence list, maybe I only highlighted 30 of them. Okay, but these are the 30 people I'm going to call, and I'm going to have the same conversation with them. So I'm going to pick up the phone and I call Laura. She's the first one on my list. I haven't talked to her in a while. So she answers the phone. I'm like, hey, Laura, it's Danny Wood over at ABC Realty. It's been a while since we chatted. Now, you can actually totally relax. I'm not calling about real estate at all. I'm calling about your business. Do you have a quick moment? And then you stop talking. So what I did there is I always remind the people who I am, what I do. Hey, it's Danny Wood, ABC Realty. Then I disarm them. And I'm like, so I did a little pivot. I'm like, actually, it's about real estate, but it's not about real estate and you buying. So you can totally relax. And then it's about you. And this is why. So I kind of do like that same formula. And the other key part of it is stop talking. So when you ask, is it okay if I call you at the moment? Stop talking. One of the things that we do, you guys, is you talk too much. And so when you're on the phone with people, you already knew who you were calling, why you were calling them. The phone was dialing and ringing, and you were like counting it down. Like you were going into it already knowing what was happening. She, on the other hand, is drinking boxed wine and watching Netflix because there's nothing else happening in the world. Right? So she was not expecting you to be calling her. So you have to just stop talking and let her process, who is this? Why are they calling? What's in it for me? Oh yeah. Okay. So that's like the formula. Now, say the kids are crying, the dog is barking, Amazon is dropping off a package at the door. Because of the cause and the stress, I'm not going to talk business at all. I'm just going to be like, oh man, it sounds like you got your hands full. Well, it's been a while since we chatted. I'll keep in touch. Next time I won't let it go as far. Okay. Talk to you later. Boom, I'm just going to like do the permission-based marketing and let her go. But then I want to keep going down the list. Now, let's say that there was no Amazon order. The kids were totally cool and the dog doesn't exist. So we're having a good, casual, comfortable conversation. Then I would slide in a business-related reason. So while I'm talking to her about that Zoom call that we're going to do for businesses and she says yes or no, it doesn't matter. As long as we're having a good conversation, then I'll be like, hey, Laura, actually, I do have a thought about real estate. But again, totally relax. It's not about you buying a home or selling a home. Just hear me out and play along, okay? If you were to guess, how many homes do you think sold in your neighborhood last year? And you can be totally wrong. Just say a wild number. Do you think it was like 3, 12, 22? What do you think? And then she's going to say a number. It doesn't matter. She's like 12. So then I would repeat the number and I would say, oh, okay, 12. So say you were right. You would agree that's not a very overwhelming number. It's not very spammy, because what we can do is set up our system to treat you like a nosy neighbor, and you're going to see all the pictures, the price, the home renovations, the home staging, and of everything just happening in your immediate market. It's really going to allow you to keep your thumb on the market that matters most to you. It doesn't cost you a thing. And I'm already setting people up, so it's of no bother to me. I just didn't want you to miss out. So if I was to include you, what's the best email? And I'm going to use that awkward silence to get the best email, because she has to process everything that I just said and told her. And there's a lot of value and benefits to what I just said. So I'm going to end off with the next stage to our story. The next chapter is her giving me her email. So I'm going to end off on that. And then I'm going to do the long pause and just let it drag out. And she'll go, oh, my email is laura@hotmail.com. So I'm writing it down. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Now we're actually want to keep it really unique and narrowed down just for you so that you don't get a lot of spam. So what's the exact address, postal code and everything? I'm going to stop talking. She's going to give me her address. So then I'm going to log into my database and I update all my notes, because if you don't have good notes, you don't have a good database, because you don't know who half the people are. So that's rule number 1, 2, and 3 is to have good notes in your database as to who they are and why you're calling them, because then you don't know why you're calling them in the future. And that's the big hurdle. It's not the first call that's the problem. It's the second, third, fourth, and fifth call that make you feel like a nuisance. So if you don't have good notes, you're going to miss that opportunity. So then what I do is I'm going to log into my MLS and I would set her up as if she was a buyer, and only her criteria is not all of Hamilton or all of Oshawa or all of whatever area you guys are in. I'm going to narrow it down just to one little pocket. So I would do just her neighborhood, and you can do it different ways. Maybe you can drop a pin and do a radius, or you could do like a polygon search, or you could list off the names of the streets, and that's the criteria. And what's going to happen is it's going to automatically email her any listing that hits that pocket. It's branded and coming from you. It's real estate related and local and relevant to her. Like, I'm in my kitchen, but I'm kind of against people sending me cooking tips and fix your roof tips and anything else with a stupid real estate logo slammed on the top of it. I totally get why you're doing it. It's to build mind share and you want people to like see value. If you are going to do that sort of stuff, this is the best first one that you should start with because it's ongoing. It's a forever thing. And it's totally relating to who you are and what you do, and it's relevant and local to them. Now, not everybody on my list was highlighted green. Remember, we went through the list and I only highlighted 30 of them. What about the other 70 that I got to miss over? Well, I'll come up with another reason. I have to figure out another reason of why I'm calling people that makes me feel good about picking up the phone. So another COVID related thing is people are finding it really hard with homeschooling right now. So I would go on social media and I would do a quick little post. I would say, hey, are any of you teachers or do you know a teacher? I have a question about homeschooling, ? And then I'll just let that sit out there in the internet for a couple of days, and I'll get a bunch of people commenting and messaging me. I'm going to connect with a teacher. I'm going to pick up the phone and call him or her and be like, hey, this is my thought. I want to do a local call for the local community. It's going to be free. If not you, who? Can you steer me in the right direction? Because this is what I'm thinking. I would like to do have a teacher share with us the tools and the apps that parents should know about. What about time blocking strategies and systems and rewards? And like they've never done any of this before. And I would just like to have an open conversation with somebody, just like me and you or me and somebody else sharing a screen. We don't need a presentation, just us talking. Would you be into that? And eventually I would find a person that would say, yeah, boom. So I would set a date. I'd be like, okay, 3 weeks from now. And I want it 3 weeks from now because I want time to go through my database. So now I'm going to grab a pink highlighter for family. And I'm going to go down that list. I'm going to highlight all the families, grandparents, and parents that don't have the green highlights. So I'm going to go through that list and highlight them all. The moral of the story is you need a plan A and a couple plan Bs, in my opinion. I'm not against traditional scripts. They really do work. And my feeling is that the reason why most people fail with them is because of everything that I already just brought up. So if you want a new, fresh approach, maybe you just need a new, fresh reason as to why you're picking up the phone and calling. And then going forward, every month or every other month, I always had something on my horizon, something that I could invite and enroll people to. If they're like, hey, Danny, what's up? What's new? I always had something up and new. Oh, man, we got this goat yoga thing coming up. Or whatever, aerial yoga, free diving lessons, CPR course, self-defense class, monster jam. When this COVID thing lifts, that's the ideas that I had, is just every month we were doing something fun and cool. The one of the best ones I found was actually the clothing drive. And the reason for that is because you could do it at least 2 seasons a year. So like summer and winter, for example. And it's a yearly thing. So say it's in 3 months, I'll call up Laura and say, hey, Laura, it's Danny over at ABC Realty. Hopefully I caught you at an okay time. It's actually not about real estate. You can totally relax. Did I catch you at an okay time? And she would say, yeah. And then, so I'm going to go through and enroll her in the whole clothing drive. I'm going to be like, hey, I got this really cool idea. It's going to de-stress and declutter your life. And all you have to do is put your gently used clothing in a bag. I'll swing by and pick it up and we're going to donate it. And I've got people across the city and I'm just going to come by your area. If you're willing to do that, just let me know the address and I'll come by. So you're getting the people's address of everybody in your database. You're doing like the Brian Buffini pop by, except for it's not costing you anything. You're popping by and you're taking stuff away from them. Plus you could get local press made in the local newspaper. Like everything is a marketing tactic for me. If I was to do this clothing drive, 100%, I would be donating it to a certain charity and then having them, I wouldn't have them, I would give it to them regardless. But if we could have them write up a blog post or something, because then it's more local people pointing to me, then I would take that news to the newspaper and let them know, hey, this is so cool. We got the South Oshawas donating all their clothing. I don't know why I use that as an example, but you know what I mean? Just leverage your marketing in all the ways that you can, okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, this is my cell number, 905-903-5442. If you guys want to reconnect with me in the future, you want to do a free half-hour coaching call where we can throw other ideas at the wall and see what sticks, text me right now and I'll send you the link. On top of that, if you need help with your marketing, I have a done for you marketing program where we do the marketing for you, where it's like set it and forget it, which is awesome. Then other people are like, that's great, but I kind of want to learn how to do it myself. And that's when one-on-one coaching takes place. I don't do monthly reoccurring coaching because it makes me a prisoner of the time slot. What I do instead is I just let people do, if you want to do one call, you can pick a day and time. If you want to do 3, you can pick a day and time. And it's a win-win for both of us because you're not on a monthly contract for a year. And I have the freedom to go do public speaking when COVID lifts. And so speaking of speaking, if you guys are part of a board, an association, a franchise, or anything where you need speakers or Zoom calls and that sort of thing, not all Zoom meetings are the same. And I put a lot of time and effort, and it's really hard for me to make it look really easy. And I hope of all the Zoom calls that you've been on, this is one of the more enjoyable ones and that you got value from it. And if you did, I'm sure other people you know would as well. So don't keep me a secret. I put all my contact info in the chat thing, which I'm going to do again. So make sure you copy and paste that or take a screenshot and then connect with me. Speaking of connecting, I don't really care about likes and followers and numbers in that regard, but I do like making contacts and connections with real people, and it's the easiest way for us to keep this conversation going. So I put my social media in the links below, and if you add me, awesome, I'll add you back and we'll just have like a real talk, like real people. I won't be like all spammy on you. Rob, that was awesome. I think it was awesome.
That's great. No, what's your website? Do you have a website or?
Brokerage Nation is the main one.
Yeah, and
Yep.
then they can get you. We've got your information. We can get you there. Now I know you help a lot of people with their Facebook and is it Instagram kind of posts and stuff like that.
The top 3 is Facebook if you just want leads. That's the cheapest source. Then we do Google. The really cool thing about Google is they have a thing now called in market, and Google can predict who's buying a home next month, and only people in your city that Google is predicting to be moving are the ones that see your ad. So it takes that shotgun marketing and really narrows it down. That's working out really well. Like most agents, when I ask them what their cost per click was, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, it's around $2 or whatever. We got it down to 18 cents to 50 cents, including my costs and Google's costs. Yeah, it's really incredible. So that's a big one. And then the other one is virtual showings, because a lot of people aren't getting the viewings personally in their properties, so they're relying on video. But you put a video on YouTube and you get 8 or 30 views, or maybe 200 views if you're lucky. But most agents are like actually in the lower range. And so I'm actually doing it with Michael Cortez in your CCR group. He was in that range on the lower end. And now he's getting, for $100 a month, his videos are getting about 1,600 views. And they're targeted to people that are buying just in Coburg, for his example.
Gotcha.
So that's those are the 3 main ones.
Nice.
There was one question on here. Sorry, guys. Danny, what CRM do you recommend?
Right. Okay. So there's a ton, man, it's a loaded question. If you want a free version, then check out Agile, Agile. So just Google search Agile CRM. The price is right. It's free. It's not real estate specific, but for the price. And if you want to upgrade and get extra bells and whistles, you kind of like, it starts at $0 and it goes up to 8 and then like 15 and then $25 and $35 or something like that. Like the pricing increments are really affordable, whereas most CRMs are more like $80 to $100 for a lot of them.
For somebody maybe starting out or just doesn't have a big. Now is that CRM? Can you transfer that information onto another CRM? And let's say if you change it down the road.
Totally, yeah. And it even, to get techie with you guys, it actually integrates with Zapier. That will automatically take it out of that and put it into another one if you need it. Yeah, gotcha. So that's why I choose Agile, because it works with Zapier.
That's pretty cool. I never even knew there was anything like that out there. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then, so if you want a real estate specific one, a lot of people like kind of rag on Top Producer because it's too complicated. And I'm like, man, you're getting so much value for the dollar for like $25 or $35 or whatever it is. You don't have to use all the bells and whistles. It's a really good one for what it is. iExact is another Canadian example, and they're really, really good. And you pay in Canadian dollars, which is a bonus. And then I took a look at Wise Agent, and I was really blown away at theirs. For $25. It ticked every box that I was looking for. So those are kind of like the popular ones. There's other popular ones too. I mean, I could list off 10 more, but those are the ones I would lean to.
Question to ask you, for let's say somebody's starting out and it's hard for somebody starting out because it's expensive. And, you know, you got the realty fees and you got all this other stuff. Can a guy get maybe 100 leads a month for very little money? Like what's the cheapest way to get good leads and not blow your brains out? What is there, like, what's the best thing out there, Danny?
So yeah, so you're either leveraging your time or leveraging your money, and a brand new person probably won't be leveraging the money. There's free business on the table right now. When I first started, I went to Craigslist and Kijiji, and I pulled up all the homes for rent in my city. And then I called up those landlords and they would answer the phone. I'd be like, hey, Joey landlords, my name's Danny Wood. I'm looking at your rental. Is it still available? And he says, yeah. And I'm like, awesome. Now I'm a real estate agent. And although I'm not trying to get the listing, I just want to talk to you about the house values. Like, have you ever considered what your home values are? Because some people don't want to be landlords anymore. And I was just curious about that. And I just had a real conversation with real people. A lot of landlords didn't want to be a landlord anymore. And then sometimes they would deflect me and be like, nope, I love being a landlord. This is perfect. So then I would plan B, slide it in and be like, oh, well, that's crazy because we actually have a list of duplexes, triplexes, and fix and flips and power of sales that are coming up. And I don't want you to miss out on that. Is it okay if I include you? And if so, what's the best email? So now I'm just building and growing my database of investors. And for every one investor in your database, they have two properties, the one they live in and the one they are renting out. That's awesome. That was free business. For sale by owners, the same thing on Craigslist and Kijiji. I would call them up and they're for sale, like they're selling on their own. So they answer the phone and I'd be like, hey, this is Danny Wood over at ABC Realty. Now I realize you're advertising your home and you're selling it on your own, but I was just curious, what if we put it on the market and I showed you, oh no, the script changed up a little bit. I'm going to actually, you know what I'm doing? In this, in the vlog, so in the text that I just sent you guys, let me do that and I'll type it out again. The last link says vlog. That has the video specifically on the scripts I used for Craigslist and Kijiji. That way we don't spend an extra like 10 minutes on scripts.
Gotcha. So for $100, like if I wanted this, you know, log on to something, I'm a new agent, I can afford $100 a month. Can I get it? Is that going to get me anything or no?
Yeah, well, 150. If you said 150, I would say, okay, go to Facebook and do a Facebook lead ad and do it based on, if not your listing, one of your brokerage listings, just get permission.
Somebody in the office or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that is a good one. Like it's the cheapest cost per lead right now is on Facebook. The quality. Right. So you also brought up the word quality. There isn't any. And so it's not going to be good quality. It's going to be, you need 100 leads to get the 2 or 4 deals. So that means 98 of them are like, I didn't fill in the form. Clearly they filled in the form, or they're like, blah, blah, blah. They're all cranky. And so you're going to go through 98 no's to get to the 2 yeses.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
You talk about a database, how it's important to recycle your database, follow up. Mm-hmm. For somebody that's just starting, what's a good organic way to build a database?
Awesome. Okay. So if you go to Facebook and you know how there's a search bar, you can search anything you want. One of the things you search is friends who live in, and then the name of your city. So I would do friends who live in Oshawa. Or friends who live in Hamilton, friends who live in Niagara Falls, like whatever. So you do friends who live in, and then type in the name of the city, and it will take your friend list and then filter it just to your friends that live in that city. And then you could look and scan down and be like, oh, I should connect with them. Like I forgot they live in Oshawa. So that's like a little memory trigger. Another one is to look at the contacts on your phone and just start scrolling through alphabetically and pulling out like, oh yeah, I should connect with him, or using them as a memory trigger to like people that are 1 foot away from them. Like, oh, not her, but her cousin. I remember her, whatever. So that's a good exercise. I actually have a whole video that takes you through how to build and grow a database from scratch. Yeah, I kind of took it from the multi-level marketing world. Because they're always helping people with building and growing their databases from scratch. And it's always about their friends and family, which is the same thing as real estate. It's about a half-hour video. And when we hang up, before I leave, I'll find that video and I'll put it in the comments.
Hey, should we ask them about the, you know how I have the 5,000 friends on my personal page, and we have our fan page, our business page. We got
Ask him, see what he thinks.
So,
You want to ask, or do you want me to? Do you want to ask?
So you go ahead. Tell him what.
Okay, so here's my theory. So my dad has 5,000 friends. Facebook's maximum limit on friends is 5,000. He has I would say 75% of his friends are agents from all over the world. I said it's important. I said completely wipe out your friends list down to 0 and re-add everybody, but pay more attention to current and past clients than the agents from across the world.
Yeah, touchy. I don't know the exact answer. I would say not delete and start from scratch. I would rather just see you chip away. Like the easiest answer would be to take a screenshot of 50 and then just have them tick the ones you want to keep.
But that's time sensitive. I was thinking, like, you know what I mean, to do it all in one shot and just build up, right?
I'll lose
that
more.
would take so long to go through 5,000 people and say yes or no on them.
No, yeah. But you know what he just showed me, Danny. I just typed in friends in Italy, and there was like probably 100 in there.
Yeah.
So I can do that, like friends in Germany, friends in. I'll just go through all the countries in the world. I probably will never bump into these people again. So.
Well, I do it for traveling, so I move to a new city every month. This is actually a mobile home, and I just move to wherever the good weather is. And so when I go, I'm in BC right now. I actually left Oshawa years ago. No offense, Oshawa, but I left. And so when I go to a new city, I'll type in friends who live in Surrey, friends who live in whatever city I'm currently in. And it just like is a great way for me to network with them. I'm like, hey, I'm in town. We should meet up. And
is that your fan page though? Is that your business page, or is that your actually personal page?
Personal.
Is it?
Yeah.
No
yeah.
kidding.
I actually don't even care about my business page. The only reason I have it is so that I can run ads. I don't expect anybody to ever go to it, and I never would encourage. Like when I put my Facebook link in the comment section, it wasn't even to my business page because I don't care about it. It was to me.
So you haven't have you hit your 5,000 mark yet, Danny?
No, I'm getting pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
But you do get referrals from agents, right? So like keep the
one.
I don't know.
That's the reason. That's why I'm not keen on doing that.
I was just looking for the most time sensitive way to recycle your friends list, and I said wipe it to 0.
Oh, here,
and it's easier to re-add than delete. It's a lot easier to re-add somebody than to go.
No, I know, but
and delete them.
Yeah, but you don't know who you're deleting, and you're going to offend people. I think the best way to do is just start off with the European countries.
Watch this. Look at my screen. I'm going to share my screen and show you another little trick. You can see my screen, right? Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So up at the top, hold on, I got to get rid of this. There you go. So up at the top, it has like birthdays. So I'm going to click on this little 8 other birthdays. So it's going to show me whose birthdays are happening today. And then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to click on upcoming birthdays. And it's going to load all of the upcoming birthdays. So I'm going to scroll down even further. And I'm going to keep on going. And then it's going to show me like later in the month. So here, later in June. And it's showing me 250 birthdays. And if I keep on scrolling, it's going to load the next month. July. So there's 295 birthdays. And when you hover over the person's face, it shows you the date of their birthday. So this could be an exercise for your team. Maybe you get a virtual assistant, Rob, where they go through all the upcoming birthdays and they get the people. And if they're in your database, then you update your birthday card list.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, your virtual assistant is going to know who you like and who you don't like. That part's the touchy part. But at least if their name is on this list and their name is in your database, there's a good chance you kind of have a connection with them somehow. And so, yeah, and then you just hover over and it tells me, oh, it's this Tuesday or it's whatever.
So it's actually good. Can you actually do a full birthday wish to everybody? Happy birthday to all the people born in June?
No.
Well, yes and no. The answer is no. So I'm going to stop my screen share for a second and come back to the camera. There is a tool called send out cards. It's a multi-level marketing company, and like they try and get you to sell the stuff, but you don't have to sell it. You can just use it. And there you can upload your list, and it's like typing up a mass email. And when you hit send, it will print to everybody and it will drop ship everybody a card. So you're not pre-buying them. You're not buying the stamps and licking them. It's just like automated. And they have a really cool deal. It's $100 a month for unlimited cards. Now, it doesn't work when you do the mass send, but if you do one card at a time, think of FSBOs in your area. You could do a card for every FSBO, just get a virtual assistant to do it for you. And you send a personal written card to everybody, and it's drop shipped, and it's $100 a month. It includes the cost of all the stamps, printing, and everything. I asked them, I'm like, there's got to be a limit. Like, people are ripping you off. What's the actual number? And they told me it was 573 or something ridiculous, like some weird number that they're already losing money. Like, what's the cost of a stamp? That do the math. You can send out a lot of cards. So you could, in theory, you could take your database and do one mass card. But when you do the mass button, it's like $250 a card or something like that.
You could do a send out card. The thing is why they give you $100 unlimited. They know most people won't do 100 cards.
Yeah, most people don't even come close.
Yeah.
Yep. So for the few that do, it balances out. So yeah, send out cards is pretty cool. Although it is multi-level marketing and they're going to get you to sell it, but you don't have to. Just use it for the product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Rob, I mean, we should do this again. I got way more than what I just covered.
Danny, you know what? It was great having you on. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure hopefully everybody else has learned something, picked up some nugget of some sort. And I appreciate you doing this for me and everybody else that's online, especially on a beautiful weather. You guys are a little cooler out there in BC right now, aren't you?
Well, it's been in the 30s lately. It's just yesterday and today it rained. But other than that, it's really nice out.
Cool stuff.
Hey, before everybody jumps off, before everyone jumps off, I'm going to throw a quick poll on the screen. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to launch the poll. In 2 weeks, we have Sarah Kelke joining us.
Nice.
She's open.
She's from Calgary, I think.
Yeah, she's amazing. We saw her speak at the start of this year. Super inspiring. But she's being cool enough to take our suggestions on what the topic is. So I've got 3 options for you on the poll, and the majority will rule, and she will focus her training efforts on that.
Well, look at that.
I went to take a picture.
Clients and maximize referrals. How to nail your listing presentation. How to have a life and still be successful in real estate. It's cool. And then if you guys want to go ahead, you can like our Facebook page. You can visit it by going to www.wininanymarket.com. And that's where we'll have all of the information about upcoming speakers. We're going to do this bi-weekly on Tuesday nights at 7.
Well, hey, thank you for including me on that list, everyone.
Thanks, Danny. Take care, buddy.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That's awesome.
It was great, Rob.
All right.
Thank you, Rob, for doing this.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out and listening, and hope we can do a deal someday soon. Take care.